Da, 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 dee, da, 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 da. Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and you can see I have a new custom portrait in the game. This is Dada. So there you can see an older picture of the tank baby. She was such a cute little baby. Oh my goodness. Look at the little cheeky poo. That cheeky. Oh man. She still has cute cheekies, but this is a little bit. This picture was taken about 2 months ago now, so she's even outgrown this one. But anyway, we have the tank baby here in a new playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Again, starting over, all over again. I may have slightly, spoilers, killed Tristian and ended up with no counselor in my kingdom, which is kind of a big deal. So I started over, and honestly, I'm really loving this. I've decided to challenge myself a little bit by playing with a smaller party, and it also helps you to level up quickly, which is a lot of fun. Everybody likes being high level, so we're level 6, almost level 7 here with the main character, Dada, who is a very powerful character. In a previous video, I talked about how if you are going to try soloing Pathfinder Kingmaker, one of the classes that could work well for you is the Alchemist, and specifically the Vivisectionist. In other words, the stabby Alchemist. And in case you didn't know, there's this fantastic anime called Full Metal Alchemist. I recommend Brotherhood. And before I get sidetracked even more by talking about how there's this really cool show called Critical Role on YouTube where a bunch of the voice actors from Full Metal Alchemist played D&D together, I'll tell you that I've never identified with an anime character as much as I identify with Maze Hughes. And if you know Full Metal Alchemist, you probably spotted this already, because look at my daughter! She's so stinking adorable! A proud Dada am I. So, I've made this character in the vein of Maze Hughes. I am actually an elf, but that just makes me into an anime person in my eyes. And I have all kinds of knowledge. I have an insane dexterity. So at base, I have a 20 dexterity, but via spells and abilities, if you look, I have some spells that it can affect just myself, called extracts, and I can bump up my dexterity to 30. And then I have a sneak attack as a rogue of the same level, and a pretty good bonus to attack and damage with agility weapons. Anything you can use weapon finesse for. And being an elf, we have rapier proficiency, which is pretty awesome because I picked up this agile rapier. And let's just carry on with things before I talk too much about myself. Oh, I should actually also mention Tank Baby is a paladin. A pretty straight, cut and dried paladin. We're having her wield a glaive +1 right now, which I might switch her out to something else or just leave her the way she is. But Tank Mommy here has not submitted an image for a personal profile in the game, so I used this cute little fairy to depict her. I think that's a fairly accurate depiction. She's a teeny woman, and she's adorable, and lots of wisdom, as you can see. Her character is another one of those classes that is just really awesome and powerful. She is an Inquisitor, so if we look at her abilities, she gets Summon Monster as a spellcaster of the same level, except that she can use this a number of times per day equal to 3 plus her wisdom modifier, which is pretty awesome, and the ability lasts for a number of minutes per character level or per class level instead of a number of rounds per level. So it's very good. And then she has the animal domain, which gives her a animal companion. So this character is all about giving us meat shields for the front line and giving me flanking bonus so that I can do that sneak attack, stabby stabby, and then Guppy over here just tears through any of the tougher stuff. She's just super strong. Oh, and another thing about Dada over here is we have a base armor class of 19, but we can boost it up to around the 30 area by using our spells and abilities. So that's pretty good for level 6. And what else should I mention about my party before we move on, other than the fact that my wife is adorable, my baby is precious, and I'm proud to be their Dada. I think that's about enough. Let's check the old YouTubes real quick. Hey, Derp Tank! Brother Toshio, tell me about freedom. Oh boy, will I teach you the ways of freedom. I've been playing a lot of War Thunder lately. We're just gonna go scout out the bald hilltop. Just, you know what, there's nothing there right now. We'll wait. I've been playing a good amount of War Thunder lately, especially the naval forces, a ford across the Skunk River. You know what, let's do this. And War Thunder Naval is just incredible. It's so much fun. And if you haven't watched it, and I forgive you if you haven't, but I did a live stream a few days ago on naval forces, and I covered some of the new things that came with 1.83 patch. But if you skip past all that stuff and get to the gameplay, where I actually play one match of War Thunder Naval, it's disgusting. It's pretty dang ridiculous, the things that I'm able to do in naval forces in that match. It's gross, and I was not. Let's go ahead and just buff ourselves completely. It was not friendly, good neighbor gameplay. It was just the beating of younglings. It was gross. But I had a lot of fun, and later on toward the end of that match, I actually well, let's just say you get to hear a little bit of daddy time with Tank Baby. It's pretty cute. She's Tank Toddler now. She's definitely not a baby. She's getting close to 2 years old, and it blows my mind. But she'll always be my baby. Anyway, let's see what's going on here with this ford across the Skunk River. I think I know what's happening. No, never mind. It's not yet. Gotta wait for trolls on this one. So I think there's just pretty much nothing going on here, and maybe I wasted all those spells buffing myself, but you know what? You live, you learn, you get the flanking advantage. Okay, oh, cool. A ferocious wolf. A pew. That sneak attack damage, though. At level 6, to be able to deal 30 damage twice per round, that's pretty decent. Alright, and we tore through those guys. One note, however, is I have turned down, I've adjusted the difficulty settings a bit just to make things move faster here. Again, this is like my 4th or 5th playthrough of this part of the game, so I'm really not looking for a challenge here. I just want to progress things and quickly get back to where I was, and then I'll turn up the difficulty just for a little more spice of life, as they say. Another thing to note is that Inquisitors get 1/2 their level bonus to perception checks, and Tank Mommy is a half-elf, which gives her fantastic perception as it is. And on top of all that, I have her equipped with the goggles that give her +5 to perception. which is just fantastic at this point. And then if you look at my skills, look at that trickery score, 21. Pretty dang good. Let's see, I actually take a penalty for my encumbrance and my armor on that one. Interesting, I didn't know that. Let's see if I can get my encumbrance down. Then, yeah, I can take off these things. How is it now? Still a bit high. Do I have a belt of strength? Dex? Dex? Where are you? I guess I don't need Dex. Con. I don't have a belt of strength. Okay, well, I guess I'll just have to live with that. Yeah, that'll be fine. So, if I didn't even realize that, if I remove my encumbrance by getting stronger or lightening up my load on my main character, I'll have even better trickery skill. Taking a -1 for wearing the chain shirt is not really a big deal. I'm totally fine with that. There's nothing really going on here in this location at this time, but once we get the troll invasion quest, we'll have more things to do. 17 damage on that regular attack for the panther. That is good. Or leopard, I should say. Das ist eine Leopard. Okay. Alright, so that's been dealt with fairly well. Just scouting the area to see what we can see. I kind of like scouting out areas before there's some kind of quest or mission there, just to refresh my knowledge on them and clear the map. It's just sort of in my nature. It doesn't really need to be done, but it's one of those things I like to do. Oh, speaking of things I like to do, I was a very busy boy yesterday. I did some martial arts practice and I taught my student. I have one student that I teach martial arts to, and his knowledge is coming along nicely. Really proud of that kid. Ooh, man. Another 28 damage on the sneak attack. That is just brutal. 10 though. That's not so much. That's rolling low and then deal a 27. Very nice. Oh, I should mention that I deal a lot more damage with my main hand weapon than my offhand weapon. That must be why I'm getting such lower damage rolls on some of my attacks, because I'm not getting the agility bonus damage on my offhand weapon. It's a regular dagger, and I actually wasted a feat by accident because I didn't read the description of the feat properly. I took Agile Duelist, I think is what it's called, and I didn't realize at the time that I took the feat that it only applies if you're not wielding an additional weapon in your offhand, because it says that it gives you the bonus when you're wielding a weapon finesse weapon of your selection. So I chose daggers. How did they put it? When you're wielding it one-handed. Well, dual wielding is just wielding two different weapons one-handed. You know, I was thinking, okay, so that must be overgrown pool. What's here? Probably something that will destroy me. So we have the autosave to jump back to if things turn south. But apparently that feat only applies if you're not wielding a weapon in your offhand, which, when I think about it, it says duelist in the title of the feat, and all of the dueling feats and abilities, they give you bonuses when you're wielding a single weapon in one hand and nothing in the offhand. But I would like to see the description of that updated to match other duelist feats and abilities that specifically mention that you're not. I'm going to do a quick save here. I think I remember this one. We have a Nixie Mayonnaise here is like threatening. She's mind boggled these two dudes, and she's like, I'm gonna make them drown if you don't stop cutting down these trees. And we're just gonna ask some questions. I'll let them go. These people have families. Yeah, that makes sense. You wish, she says. And then we'll try to reason with these loggers. Diplomatize. Blam. Oh, we failed. But we succeeded on a knowledge world check. Melianza, please release the hostages. Tried with an intimidate. Try with a oh yes, we succeeded on our diplomacy. We just saved ourselves some questing there and picked up a rather significant amount of experience just by doing the old talky talk as you do. So that worked out nicely for us, and we will carry on. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your carrot pieces to rest. Don't stir fry no more. Do 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 do. We haven't even used our summon monster. There we go. Let's use that. Summon Momster. Nice knockdown. These Wolfie boys get the teamwork feat of Tandem Trip because of how awesome Tank Mommy is. So every time she summons wolves, each one of them rolls their knockdown attempt twice and picks the more favorable result, which is just fantastic. It equates to my summoned Wolfie boys knocking people down constantly. And if you don't know what knockdown is in Dungeons and Dragons style games, it is the best combat trick, combat maneuver you can pull off. Spoiler, you knock someone down. And in the mechanics of the Vidya game version of being knocked down, your character is not able to perform any actions while prone, and you have to wait until your next turn to stand up as a move action, which provokes attacks of opportunity from everyone around you. And if you don't know what that means, suffice to say, you will get shredded if you get knocked down. It's a quite good ability. And something of a bother if you're on the receiving end. It's a little bit different in the tabletop version of games where knockdown shows up. Generally, being knocked prone is not the end of the world in the tabletop game, because you can do things like crawl and attack while prone, even though that's at a disadvantage. You have more tactical options. But one of the things that you notice in PC games in general is it's just not convenient to list all of those additional options, unless you're playing a game like NetHack, in which case that is an exception to the general. Oh my goodness, that damage. Hey, stop spitting poison at me. Love how fast also the leopard and the wolves move. That extra move speed really helps you out when you're being flanked, or you need to react quickly, or if you just want to bog somebody down in enough time. This was a random encounter, wasn't it? Yeah. If you just want to bog somebody down while your main fighters wade into the fray. And one of the things that I don't particularly like about this particular game is that your characters don't really run. In combat, they tend to just kind of walk at a leisurely pace, unless you use the charge action, which puts them at a disadvantage for other things. And I sort of understand why they did that. It comes down to things like move actions and full attack actions, but I would like to see a sprint option available in the game. At this point, there's only the charge option, and there's some limits on what you can do in a charge, and also some side effects that are not necessarily desirable. But having said that, this is one of the most brilliantly modeled PC renditions of a tabletop game that I've seen. It's a great joy. As I've mentioned time and time again, the makers of this game, Owlcat Games, have been jumping on bugs left and right. D-Man says hi. Good to see you, bud. You and Derp Tank I see all the time, and I never get tired of seeing you guys. I'm happy to see you in the live chat. As you can see, I'm just like alt-tabbing to check the chat, so I apologize if I miss something for a few minutes. Just stick with me. I'll notice you eventually, I promise. Excuse me. Alright. Nice, we got 3 wolves. Something I have not mentioned about my summon monster spell is that right now it summons 1d3 wolves, and anytime you see a D in the description of something that comes from a D&D or a tabletop game, it's talking about a die. So it just means 1, 2, 3. So between 1 and 3 wolves can be summoned by that spell, and we got all 3 that time, so that's pretty cool. Let's try to disarm this trap. Nice. And then we'll take down these Slotzl worms. Nice little bite fortitude save. Good, good. Avoiding poison is always appreciated. Die, poisonous snaky boy. Die. Alright, and we're spotting everything because of our awesome equipment slash the fact that Tank Mommy is an Inquisitor. Nothing gets past her. She also gets a bonus to her Intimidate, but because character points are limited, she actually has a not fantastic charisma, even though in real life my wife is just as charismatic as she wants to be. Okay. A Bodhi boat. Let's see what's here. They had a recipe. Judging by the empty coffer, someone was using this boat to transport quite a bit of I don't really care. Okay. What's that? Ruins say. Ancient weather-worn ruins. Time has been merciless to them. Virtually impossible to tell how little I care about the rest of that sentence. Okay. Moving on. Looks like that's about it for this area. Check chat real quick. Alrighty. So we slew some poisonous worms. We do need to take a nap soon. The Tank Baby is taking her own nap IRL right now. Lucky girl. And I just drink my caffeine and stay awake. Alrighty. Love those summoned wolves. Not only do they look cool, but they're really helpful in combat at this point in the game. It would be nice to have some higher strength characters on the team. Tank Baby has a 16 strength, which is a pretty good representation of the way she is in real life. My little tank toddler is super strong, especially when I'm taking a nap on the couch or attempting to do so, and she desires my attention. Communicating this information by pulling on my hair until I turn my face to look at her. So that's a thing. And she's really strong when she's pulling my hair. She's really good at getting my attention. Hunting took 1 hour. That's not so bad. Alrighty, let's push forward. Things that are coming to the channel. I definitely want to play some more War Thunder. Like right now, yesterday I noticed that Naval Forces was down until further notice. I haven't checked on that lately, but I definitely want to play some more War Thunder Bodhi boats. They're a ton, absolutely a ton of fun. And the bigger ship you can get into, the more fun they are. So far. I have the sneaking suspicion that destroyers are going to be the most fun of everything, even though light cruisers have already come to the game, and there's definitely strong hinting that larger vessels are certainly possible. I'm not really interested in those as much as I'm interested in destroyers, because destroyers are just so dang versatile. Especially the love of my life, the Fletcher. The cowl specifically, the premium Fletcher has some extra 40mm cannons, and they really make a difference. Like all those 40s and radar fuse AA, just for the main guns, really good stuff. The Oak That Strayed. If I recall correctly, there's like a insane dryad up here, so let's check that out. Kill the dryad! Ah, Neverwinter Nights, good times. Now's a good time to check chat real quick. Nobody's talking, that's good. I would hate to not notice one of you guys' comments. So I was talking about what's coming to the channel. I've been watching an incredible amount of roguelike videos, not so much people playing them as people talking about like how they're made, and I've just been really intrigued. So let's go ahead and buff ourselves up here. So I would like to play a few roguelikes. Caves of Qud looks really cool. I have downloaded Dwarf Fortress, which is not technically a roguelike, I think, but it's a pretty broad definition, pretty broad category as it is. You make so many summons, and they're just like free. They're on top of your regular spells per day. It's so good to be an Inquisitor or a what's it called, a monster tactician. Such a good class, really fun, lots of flavor. One of the things I was thinking about today is how much discharge staff, careful now, how much personality the character classes have, or how much distinctness. Yep, there's the insane dryad. Speaking of stinkness, what can we do to make life difficult for this dryad? I guess we could. It never hurts to try a hold person. Does a dryad count as a person? Let's see. The subject doesn't even say. That's another thing, like, what do they mean by person? It doesn't tell you. It says one enemy creature within medium range, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect monsters. So there you go. It just tells me right there now that it won't affect them. That's cool enough, I suppose. The first thing that this thing is going to do is drop a thorn field, which is going to be super annoying because, well, you'll see. Let's drop a doom on that one, and insane dryads, let's hope that it's evil. So our smite evil, saved against the doom. Yep, there it goes, dropping the spike field. So annoying. Sharp stones is what it actually did. Nice with the knockdown, and just shredded it before it could do anything more. So that was altogether delightful. Just a dagger. And then somebody's got to go grab those. I hate spike stones so much. The loots, what we've got? Scroll of Freedom of Movement and a Keen Sickle +1. A sickle is a light one-handed weapon, right? One-handed. Let's see. I have a +12 right now on the offhand. If I equip the sickle, I still have a +12. I have a little bit better damage. So it's an upgrade. What's the critical stats on this one? 19 to 20 with a ×2. The keen effect doubles the critical threat range of a weapon. So that's cute. How are we gonna get out of this rock field? This is kind of annoying. How much experience did I get for that battle? Oh, I don't care. Whatever. We're getting real close to level 7, and that's going to be great. You guys may want to exit. You guys are right in the middle of the stone field, so that's a lot of damage. Spike Stones is a really, really powerful low-level spell. As you can see, we're just taking damage after. Oh, they knocked down our kitty cat. What a jerk! And finishing off with 6 damage on that last hit. That's a lot of damage. Nothing. A little bit of channeling positive won't fix. And then the spell fades right after we walk out of it. Delightful. I need to get Dispel Magic on somebody. Well, that works for us. And did we just rest? I'm not sure. We are slowed for a little while. Again, difference between this and the tabletop version is the Spike Stones, I think, only hinder your movement until you receive healing. Like any hit points worth of healing magic, and you're back to walking normally. But again, that's not really modeled in this game. It's just for a set duration. It's like a minute or 30 seconds or something. I think it's 30 seconds after taking that last tick of spiky foot damage. Alrighty. That good stretch. Okay, where are we gonna go next? We're just kind of scouting our kingdom here, having a good old time, exploring, and going to some of those places that we didn't get to when we were hunting down the Stag Lord. A lone house. Oh, I want to go to that lone house out in the woods. There's a certain odd hermit that I do love killing in this game, because he's kind of a bad person. So I give myself license to execute him as a troublemaker to the common folk, and just generally a creepy guy in general. But mainly, I like to kill this guy because we're pretty early in the game, and he gives me a dagger that grants +3 armor class, even a dodge bonus to armor class, which stacks with everything, and is one of the best armor class bonuses because it also protects you from touch attacks, which can be very, very deadly, especially if a ghost is touching you. Because you go all Scooby-Doo and you're like a ghost, and you get level drained and you get stat drained, and pretty soon you're dead. And not even a 70s pop music montage can save you from that. So let's go ahead and just use all the buffs. Check this out. Watch Tank Baby enchant this weapon. How cool is that? Now it's on fire. Like, that is just... Some of the abilities in this game are just... They're just cool because they're cool, without even thinking about how awesome the stat bonuses are. And the stat bonuses, spoiler, they're pretty awesome. Okay. Let's Ponzer these noobs. We just have all the damage output now. I love it. Don't even need to tell these people what to do. They know what to do. Just go in there and shred everything that has a red circle around it. Beautiful. And now we play the looting game. Another cool feature of Pathfinder Kingmaker that I love so very, very much is any loot that you have, like, how should I put this? Well, that you've unlocked, you know, by, like, killing somebody or whatever. You can do all your looting at the end of the area right before you leave. So you don't have to, like, manually walk to everybody and search the corpses. Like, all the stuff that's just laying there on the ground, you can decide what you want to take when you're leaving an area. So that saves you a decent amount of time. And there's a lot of time savers in this game, which I very much appreciate, because there are a few time wasters. Loading screens get very long later in the game. The optimization of this game is something that really needs... a bit of work, and it mostly comes down to the complexity of your save game files. They get very, very complex. We have a problem to deal with. Let's send Chandra Mavi. I've tried out the other advisors, and this is my first time using Chandra, so we'll hope that things go well with her. A certain advisor that I will not mention right now by name actually ends up betraying me roughly halfway through the story, and I don't really appreciate that. But to come back to the mechanics of the game, there's a ton of information that gets stored in your save game file just because of how complex this game is, especially later on. Where were we headed? Over there? Let's go to the capital. And where are we going? And your PC really gets bogged down reading and writing all of that information when you're saving your game or loading. Even during area transitions, the downtime gets pretty extreme later on. So it's kind of nice. Like this load screen here is even now starting to get kind of on the long side for my personal taste. And what I'll usually do is when I'm playing this by myself without streaming and providing this great stream of consciousness conversation with you guys, is I'll just alt tab out of the game and watch a show on YouTube or whatever, and after, like, look at that, this is starting to get into what I'm talking about here. Like, why is this taking so long? It's probably been close to a full minute where I'm just staring at this press H to make characters hold position tip. That's actually really good advice that I never use. And it's just been loading here the whole time. I hear the music change, so I know that things are speeding up for me. But that was way too long of a loading screen. But we're gonna tell Harrim that he's got a request for us. So there we go. And now we finally get control of our character. The first thing we're gonna do is take a nap because we've spent a long time on the road. And that's sort of, if there was one thing I could change about this game, is I would love for the loading times to be faster. And there are ways that I could install this on a solid state hard drive, and that would really help with the loading times, I'm sure. But in the end, it really comes down to optimization. And I think that it's not a simple thing to fix because of just how many processes are running in this game between kingdom management and all of your inventory, and the fact that this game is based on the Unity engine, which means that there's a whole lot of optimization that's not really coded into Unity for RPGs. Unity is not necessarily the best engine to run a huge RPG like this. But, well, having said that, that's one thing that I'd like to see improve about the game, and probably, honestly, is just going to stay the way it is for a while, and I'm okay with that, because this really is a fantastic game. Another hint that I'd like to give to you guys, if you're still interested, is the projects and events screen can get really busy later on in your kingdom, where you have like 50 projects, and there's just like this wall of, and you can't select a single one. So click into any one of them, and you can go left and right to cycle through them if you're trying to find a specific thing, which of course you are, because you don't want to do all the projects. So that really helps to find what you're looking for. You know, there's like 100 of these things, and you can't like do the 1 pixel difference between one page and another. So you just click on one and use the arrows to get to the one you want. Really helps out. I wish I'd thought of that earlier. So we're working on one thing. Maybe it's time to grab the outskirts. Let's check our BP right now is at 132. It's going to cost 150 to grab it. So let's just do some more exploring and then jump on that project a little bit later. Maybe there's some other thing we can do here. Projects, pillage the temple, trade agreement, Isvanki's offer. What was Isvanki? Let's see. Cool, I actually thought I failed the check on that one, but... Okay, requires 7 days. Put Jod on that. Let's go ahead and do that. A free shrine, always useful. Training, not really interested in that. What's this trade agreement with Sertova? 1500 BP. That's kind of insane. Let's see. Each city gets 5 BP. Eventually, our capital will become a city. 2 BP for each town and 1 for each village. Villages will have a score of fairly soon. So let's say we'll end up having 7 or 8 BP by the time we're about halfway through the game. Plus another 2 for each town. So maybe another 4 on top of that. Or no, just actually another 2 because it'd be taking away from a village to upgrade it to a town. So 5, 7, like maybe 12 or 13 BP per week. And it's 1500, so by the time we've spent like 200 weeks, we'll be seeing any kind of profit from this. And it takes 60 days to arrange, and we don't even have the advisor to do that. So that's kind of a... Yeah, I'm not really interested in that trade deal. There are some other trade deals that end up being a little bit more beneficial, but trade with Sertova, not all that tempting at this point. They can take their trade and shovel it. When it comes to kingdom management, there's a whole lot of information you need to know. And one of the things that I did not understand is it's actually the counselor's ability and not the economist. What was it called? The treasurer, I think. It's not the treasurer's ability that helps you to produce BP. It's the counselor's ability. And I kind of mentioned that I kind of killed Tristian, who was my only counselor in the kingdom, and the only counselor I could possibly have at that point in the game. Like, I missed my one chance to pick up an alternate counselor just by not talking to someone. So, I done goofed, is what I'm telling you. So if you do pick up this game, there is a huge amount of information that you'll want to navigate in order to do things properly. Look at how long this load time is. Just a little bit excessive, in my perfectly humble opinion. And all I really want to do is get back into the world map, and I can't go directly from the throne room to the world map. I have to walk through my capital here, which I've walked through dozens upon dozens of times, and it's kind of cool. Depending upon your alignment, that determines the alignment of your capital city, and this is the first time I've been neutral good. And I think it's nice to see like the little sort of fair / bazaar style atmosphere. Maybe a little bit of a like a king's tournament kind of feel going on perpetually in the capital. So that's kind of cute. And the look of your capital will also change. Look at how cute this little tank mommy is. She's such a cutie. The look of your capital will also change as you upgrade it from a village to a town to a city, and that's kind of neat. But at the same time, kind of boils down to just more time in loading screens. So it would be nice to be able to just like press a button or click on something and go directly to the world map when you're in like an area that doesn't require you. I'm gonna go ahead and check out this bridge over the Gudrun. But at the same time, there is this argument for how do I put this? Like world building, I guess. The main thing is the loading screens, and there's not really an easy way around them just because of how the game is made. But if you spend more time just experiencing world, even walking from one place to another, it really helps you become attached to that world. But honestly, I think one of the things that's sort of lacking in this game is it gets the world building a little bit, but I feel like it could have more. And I think it really comes down to immersion breaks like this, where you're just, sitting looking at a loading screen. And one of the cool things about the loading screens in this game is that they have their own style. They look like they're a book written by somebody, and that somebody is Lindsay, one of the characters you can have in your party, and that's just kind of cool. But at the same time, oh, we need to go talk to somebody, actually, now that I think about it. I'm wondering if I should buff myself or just look how cool my... Oh, you done got exploded. That rapier looks pretty cool. Ferocious wolf. That's a lot of wolfy boys. Let's summon some reinforcements and play a little bit tactically here. We're kind of overpowered at this point, but that doesn't mean we need to play stupidly. Okay. Everyone target this wolfy boy. Ferocious wolf. Alpha wolf. Boom. Get sneak attacked for 35 damage. Very nice. Get gefügt. Schleich. What? That's interesting. My summoned wolf just occupied the same space as that very much still alive enemy alpha wolf. I haven't seen that happen before. There are some rules for occupying the same space as an enemy, again, in the tabletop version of Pathfinder, but I don't think there is such a mechanic in this game, barring swarms, which can happen. You can have swarms of spiders in this game, and they're very troublesome. Oh, whoops, wrong button. We want to use on other. Nicely done. 12 damage with a lay on hands, healed. That's quite good. I'm proud of you. Okay. Man, the roads in my kingdom really could use some work. They're somewhat in disrepair here, even in an important area as this bridge. And my goodness, somebody needs to come around and slay all these wild beasties that seem markedly unfriendly to us. But I guess that's what I'm doing. Look at how cool Tank Baby's flaming glaive is. A glaive, in case you were wondering, is like a big huge blade on a big ol' handle. So there you go. It's a type of pole arm. It's sort of exotic. But actually, in this game, falls. Oh, get critically hit! My goodness, it falls under the martial weapons proficiency group, which is just as well. Jeez, Ruiz, we are shredding through these fellers. Man, goodness, that was just disgusting. Okay. Well, I'm sure you guys don't want to sit and watch me play this game. Oh, I should have checked it for a fireball trap. But half plate plus 2, that's very nice. I don't think we necessarily need that armor, but that'll sell for a pretty penny. Kind of wondering who left their backpack with a fireball trap inside, but you know what? There's no accounting for taste. Anyway, guys, Tank Baby's gonna be waking up soon, and I'm sure you guys are interested in watching more things happen than me just wander around running my mouth. But if that is what you were looking for, well, I hope you enjoyed today, and I'll try to come back with some more War Thunder Naval Forces videos for you guys. Very much interested in that, and I might have to pick up Caves of Khud. I think it's $10 on Steam right now, and it's one of those games that It uses ASCII graphics, so it's kind of bare bones when it comes to the graphics department, but it's just bursting with neat features. How many Wolfies do we have? I think we have one Wolfie boy. Let's go ahead and summon a few more for a few Wolfies more. Oh, check out my armor class real quick. 29. Not bad. Not bad at all. And then we could boost it up to a 30 with this Shield of Faith. Let's go ahead and do that. Anyway, guys, this has been... Here I am trying to end the stream, like, constantly, and I just keep forgetting to end it and getting distracted. But this has been Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's a delightful D&D style RPG of the genre. I'm a huge fan, and I've just been having a blast with it. It's sort of a love-hate relationship. My goodness, Tank Baby, you are just getting shredded right now. It's sort of a love-hate relationship on account of, well, this is a very large, complex game made by a small studio, and you just kind of get what you pay for with this one. Great game. That is sort of hobbled by, well, some less than optimal features and some things that need a little bit of looking to, but it has been worked on arduously by the developers, Owlcat Games, sort of like War Thunder itself. Great game, lots of bugs, nothing else like it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this live stream. Let me check the chat real quick before I take off. Let's see. Sorry, I haven't been talking to you guys for a while. PabloX69 says, what's the build of the main character? I'll show that to you in just a second. War Thunder Anonymous, hey! Good to hear from you, man. Alright, so Pablo, I hope you're still watching. I'll show you the build of my main character. And you see that when I get buffed up, I'm at level 6 and I have a plus 12 to hit and really good damage with my weapons here. And then I should have, what, 3d6 sneak attack damage on top of that for the most part. So really good agility based character once you cast those self-buffing spells. AC of 31 right now, which is just great for level 6. Reflex saves fantastic. Will is sort of where I'm weak here, so that can come back to bite me later on. But the base build of this character is a Vivisectionist. I've put maximum points into dexterity as an elf, and also we have an 18 intelligence base. We've dumped our charisma down to nothing. We dumped our wisdom down to 8, and or actually I think it's actually a standard 10, and it goes down to 8 when I use my agility mutagen. So there's that. 10 strength base, and I think my con is a 12 base. So that's my build. If we look at my feats, you can see all of my feats here. Let's see, Fencing Grace Dagger was a mistake, but these other feats have worked out really well for me. One nice thing is when you choose Elf as your race, you get Elven weapon proficiencies, which really helps you out. I'm able to wield this agile rapier because of that, so I don't have to put a feat into martial weapon proficiency, which is really helpful, especially considering when it comes to building my characters. One of the things that I've noticed is, in general, it's good to sort of not commit to a specific weapon type, unless you have to. So there's just more weapons you're able to use without really being less powerful. And an exception to that general rule is the fighter class. Fighters are extremely powerful in this game, and if you put all of your weapon specialization into a particular weapon, you can be very, very effective. But no fighters in this group. What else could I show you? There's the Vivisectionist. I did a video on this, talking about 3 character classes that you could try to beat this game solo with. And, well, I also tried playing this game solo with a certain character, and it really didn't work out well for me. So there is that. And another thing is, if you do want to try and beat this game solo, there's going to be a lot of things that you miss out on, but a solo playthrough has its own charm. This game is really balanced for a party of 6 characters. If you have 6 characters in your party, the game is, for the most part, reasonably challenging, with a few sort of extreme difficulty spikes when it comes to certain boss fights that are just some of the bosses are just ridiculous, and I would not fault someone for turning down the game difficulty just for those fights. And then I've turned it down a little bit just because I want to have a small party and well, not spend so much time doing things like going back to town to pick up a scroll of lesser restoration because I've been stat drained. You know, or actually it'd have to be regular restoration. We got another level. That's nice. Here I go, trying to end the stream early, and we pick up a level. It gives us a sneak attack, so that's always good. We're up to a 4d6. That's a lot of damage. What else can we do? More points on our skills. Up to a base plus 17 on our trickery. That is pretty good. Excuse me. Alrighty, what now? We're pretty close to getting another attack as well, so that'll be really, really helpful. But they want us to pick point blank shot. You don't know me. Combat expertise could be good, especially if we pick up knockdown. But that's actually not a bad idea. Double slice will give us a little bit more damage, but we don't really need... what double slice does is you get your full strength bonus on your offhand instead of half your strength bonus. But I don't know, again, with the wording of these things, that's talking about strength bonus, but I want to use my dex bonus anyway, so I don't think that'll be the best feat for me to pick right now. Don't even know if it'd be helpful at all. What else can we pick? Weapon focus actually might not be a bad idea. Maybe combat expertise. Because if we take combat expertise and knockdown and agile maneuvers, that's 3 feats. But we could get really good at using that, especially with tandem trip. You know what? Let's do that. We'll take combat expertise, tandem trip, and agile maneuvers. Maybe combat reflexes. That's actually not a bad idea either. What's coordinated maneuvers? Dazzling display. Yeah, we'll take combat expertise. That comes in handy anyway if I need to bump up my armor class for a while. Displacement is really good. That gives us it gives the enemy a 50% chance to miss us. Lasts for 1 round per level, but really if you're not using haste, you're wasting your time. I think haste will be the best one. It'll give us another attack. Thorn body is another cool one, but I really plan to not get hit, so I probably don't need to pick that one up right away. Better to just destroy the enemy via your own power than make them suffer for touching you, as much as that appeals. So haste, yeah, I think that's a good call. And this is a self buff only because it's a alchemist extract, but it's just cool. And I could pick up a discovery that would allow me to use my extracts on other people, but I just think for roleplay reasons I want to keep it the way it is. Maybe that's a mistake. I really should pick up that discovery at some point. Alrighty guys, I think that's where I'm going to end the stream for today. Had some good times, showed off a few new character concepts, and this is my first time showing you guys this compact party of 3. Again, I have turned down the difficulty a little bit. Not with I haven't set it to easy, but I've just turned down a few of the more troublesome but rewarding features of the game that make a whole lot of sense if you have a party of 4 or 5 or 6 people. But for a party of 3, I just want to relax and enjoy adventuring out in the wild and not have to worry about persistent status problems, among other things. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.